All right, guys, we are live. Good evening, everybody. This is Drake with the RPG Construct, and tonight we are running my first in our Call to Adventure series. Now, if you don't know what Call to Adventure is, Jake Norman and I have spearheaded kind of the next evolution of the AbTab Challenge, which is basically to start gaming with people that you don't know, people you're not comfortable, with already, and just kind of showing newer people. And I don't mean brand new, but some of these guys have never played in an online game. Some of them never played D&D at all. So it's kind of a game that one shot that is going to be kind of geared towards newer people. And you're going to see a lot of these from, I think we have something like 45 DMs signed up now. So we are going to kind of go through. Some of these guys don't have cameras. So we're just going to kind of look at me and their overlays when we get to them. So we kind of went through everything, made sure that they have their characters set up and they know the basics of everything. And so we're just going to run this game and see what happens. So if everybody is ready, we shall begin. The four of you begin as friendly travelers. You've traveled for quite some time together. Probably here a few days now. You know each other well enough. You've heard each other's good stories. Probably aren't very familiar with any of the, dirty secrets, but you know each other well enough. We have two dwarven fighters kind of leading the pack. Stubborn and and kind of ornery, always bickering back and forth to each other. They're probably the ones that are the most loud and rambunctious. The day is dreary. It's just kind of misting outside. It's overcast, cloudy. You can hear the road kind of squish under your feet. And you come to a sign that says Dawson, Dawson, 1 mile. As you continue down kind of this little hill, in the distance you see a town. Large buildings, small buildings, just a kind of a sprawling sort of, not really a city, but certainly stone and wooden buildings. On the outskirts, you see fields, but they look strange. Some kind of overgrown, like they haven't been tended. Some just dead. Just whatever was growing there has just kind of fallen over and, turned to nothing. And as you come closer, as this path goes closer through this town, all of you realize something odd. You don't see anybody. You don't hear anybody. And as you get even closer, you notice that the streets look unkept. There's little, bits of grass growing in the middle of the streets. The metal signs in some of these places have begun to rust. The iron rivets in these doors for each building have begun to rust. And even some of the doors themselves have begun to rot just with this moisture. And all you hear is the sound of your own footsteps. Now, walking in, Josh, what would your character be thinking or feeling, or what would your character say to his companions?
How long did you say we had been traveling together for?
I'd say probably for a few days.
Okay. As we kind of made our way into town through the roads, upon noticing that really there was no one in the town or in its sight, Petrum would kind of scan his view back and forth And you kind of look up to the dwarfs because he's a gnome. It's a little quiet in here, don't you think?
And what would you guys, Jason and Jeremy, what would you guys say or respond?
Petrum, this place is as quiet as the grave. Makes me quite uneasy.
Aye. And Petrum would try to keep his steps light as the party walked into town.
Okay. What about you, Jeremy?
Well, after looking around and not seeing any birds perched anywhere and not hearing anything at all, he would look grimly to the others and, sounding almost like a grunting or a huffing of a sheep or a larger monkey, he would say, well, in my opinion, when it's this quiet, we get ambushed.
It's only quiet because it's what's the word? Ghost town. Surely nothing bad happens in ghost towns.
And I would assume that you guys continue a little bit further in. You're just at the very outskirts of the town now. Would you like to just follow that main road? Would you like to go around? Would you like to how would you like to proceed here, guys? And ask any questions that you'd like.
A quick glance around where we're standing. Is there any indicator of light or activity? Is there a road with, I don't know, wagon marks on it? Anything like that?
The main road that you've come off of, the road forked probably about a quarter of a mile back before you could really see everything. The main road absolutely looked like it was very well traveled. Wagon wheel, divots, boot marks, hoof prints. But the path that you're on now, it looks like it's been some time since anything has made its mark on it.
Maybe we could go check out what's living or unliving here, perhaps. I'm always interested in lighting up the dreary ghost towns of all the world.
So, in which direction would you guys like to go? Just straight down, where you are, or do you have a different way that you'd like to do it?
Well, we cannot stand here all day. Let's go forward, my friends. And nervously, I will touch the holy symbol that I carry around my neck, and perhaps even squint into all the dark corners, trying to hide fear that's maybe on the edge of my psyche.
Okay.
Perhaps a bit of light might aid you in this dark endeavor. And you'd see Jasmine kind of lean forward and touch the dwarves' weapon, and it would immediately glow with a bright red light, illuminating the darkness.
Listen, it's probably not dark yet. It's probably late afternoon, but it's just kind of overcast and just kind of dreary out. But I know that spell lasts for a while, so he'll be fine.
Oh yes, well it'll definitely be dark inside.
But I mean, you have some, very kind of dimly lit areas in between some of these buildings. But as you walk further in, guys, again, it's that just kind of eerie sound of only you guys. It's almost like you become more aware of the sounds that each of you make. You hear each other breathing. You hear each other walking. You hear each other's weapons and armor making noise as you go. And in the silence of this place, it almost sounds like it's too loud, like you're giving away your position if you didn't want to. And as you turn a corner, you come to what you can only imagine was a marketplace. There are several carts just sitting there, There are little stalls, but there's no one there. But you do hear something. And up probably 20 feet away, you see just kind of this lump sitting on the ground. And as you walk closer, this lump kind of begins to sort of uncurl itself and begins to stand up. And you notice that this is a dog. You notice the chain around its neck. You notice the just the emaciated look where you see its ribs just protruding from its sides. This thing looks like it's been starved. It's attached to a chain that's probably 15 or 20 feet long. And as you approach, it just kind of looks at you, and you almost notice its eyes look like they're brightening up a bit. And he sees you and he sticks his tongue out, just, and he sits. What would you like to do?
Petrum would immediately go into his pack looking for a bit of rations, and he would take out some rations, and still kind of with a shiver in his body. Ugh. I feel like something's watching us. As he would kind of look around as he walked towards the dog with the rations stretched out in his hand.
And the dog is very... Yeah, I'm getting some feedback in somebody. Mute yourselves. I think that's you, Jeremy. There you go. That was really bad feedback, dude. As you walk up to this dog, it almost growls. It's kind of... And then... And it realizes that it's food. And it just sits there as you get close. It can't come any further. It's at the edge of its chain. And as you get closer, it just kind of does one little and begins to just swallow everything that you gave it. You see his tail begin to wag. You see him almost instantly just become more invigorated. And then he faces back towards you, Josh. And it's like he's looking towards you, but just off to your right. And you just hear this animal. But you look, and there's nothing there. There's nothing to the side of you. And this animal just continues. And then he begins to bark and growl and louder and louder. Just... What would you like to do?
As he handed the rations off, kind of in a shaky fashion, he wouldn't really keep his distance from the dog, seeing that it was enjoying the rations. But after he saw, kind of peering at the dog peering over his shoulder, he would, "What?" And then when he looked back, or actually before he even looked back, the sound of the barking would startle him so much that he would then he would back up to his companions.
And Josh, I need you to make me a wisdom save, please.
All right. Let's see. Oh, goodness. First roll of the game. That's a 3.
You begin to feel lightheaded, kind of dizzy. If you've ever had a little bit too much to drink and you shouldn't be walking.
Petrum has.
I'm sorry, say that again.
And Petrum has been there.
Yeah. So you don't fall, but you fall to one knee. You're certainly struggling to keep yourself up. The rest of you, as he walks towards this dog and gives him this, this ration, the dog begins to eat it, and the dog is growling and barking at nothing. What would the rest of you be doing as this is happening? Why don't we start with Jason? Okay, all right.
I look in the direction of the growl. It seems to be barking at nothing yet. Surely this creature is not mad. I would grab just a clump of dirt off the ground and just toss it in that direction, seeing if it hits or is displaced by anything.
And you do so, and it just falls to the ground as if you would expect if there's nothing there. Jason or Jeremy? Okay, let's go with Jason.
As Petrum, did you say falls through a knee?
Yeah.
I'll step forward and I'll draw my axe and rest a steadying hand on the gnome's shoulder. And Brother Dwarf, I think you are correct. I think we are set upon something afoul here.
And as you come up close to him, Jason, I need you to give me a wisdom save too, please.
$16.
Okay. So as you get up to him, you don't know what he's feeling. You don't feel anything odd. You're just, he's your friend. You're there to help him. What about you, Jeremy? What would you be doing?
Well, hearing the dog's alarm and looking the way it's looking and not seeing anything, I slowly take my shield and put it more in position in front of me for defense, and I bring my hand axe out and hold that low, not to startle the dog. And if I can I use my insight to see if my senses pick up what the dog might see?
Sure, you can give me an insight roll.
Okay. And that's a total of 14.
Okay. I would imagine that you've spent some time with animals in your life, and you recognize this to be not an angry growl, not an aggressive growl, but a type of growl that would indicate fear. That the dog is obviously chained up and has nowhere to go, but something is scaring him. But you wouldn't know what. You don't feel anything yourself, but you do recognize that in this animal.
Would it be possible for me to unhatch the dog from its bonds?
Sure, absolutely. You want to take the chain off?
Excuse me?
Said you want to take the chain off?
Yeah.
Okay. And you do so. And the dog kind of looks up at you, and he looks up at Josh, and he begins to very, very gingerly and very slowly limp his way in the other direction from where you guys came, going deeper into the town. It's like his front left leg is either broken or hurt. He can't put any weight on it, but he just kind of limps, and you hear him whimper every time he takes a step. And every once in a while, maybe every 3 or 4 steps, he looks back at you guys and he barks. And then he takes a few more steps and he looks back and he barks. As if to kind of urge you to follow him, is what you would figure out from that, Jeremy.
I would slowly follow him, cautiously.
Would you explain any of that to your companions, or would you just start following them without saying anything?
I would let them know that it looks like the dog wants us to follow him, and I would slowly make my way there.
Okay. And Would the rest of you follow?
Yeah, I'll follow, but as I'm following, I'll take a look at the dog, checking to see if there's anything particularly wrong. I know its leg is broken or injured. If there's any signs of how it happened, perhaps simply a fall or some sort of attack.
As you're watching this thing and you're kind of paying attention, you don't see anything necessarily about the dog, but as you're walking by the area that he was staked to with that chain, you do notice some bones. Some humanoid bones. There's no flesh left on them, but they look gnawed on. And you probably, just at a quick glance, would recognize probably 2 or 3 legs, maybe a femur, and maybe like a hand, kind of half chewed up. But these look old. Even the like I said, there's no meat or flesh left on it. These are just skeletons, just pieces of skeletons. But knowing that the animal was chained up, it would be odd to you, and you would probably imagine, how could that dog have gotten that stuff being chained up? Would you relay that to your companions? If you're talking, you're muted.
It is kind of strange that there were bones next to the dog. Perhaps there's a caretaker for this animal, even if they're an irresponsible caretaker. They seem to at least have been giving him bones. I highly doubt this creature could escape his bonds to retrieve them on his own. Maybe there's someone hiding amongst these buildings that takes care of him.
And as you guys continue to walk down, you pass probably the largest building in the town. Did metal sign that says the Groggy Goat. This is your quintessential inn/tavern that you've seen in hundreds of towns on your journeys. You see a small stone church down towards the end. You see a few like blacksmith shops. Again, just passing some barns, probably used for storage, and then just a lot of little homes. All the doors are shut. You don't see or hear anyone. But as you walk, the dog turns about halfway down this road to his left, and it begins to bark. And you hear at the door that you guys are probably 15 feet away, you hear like that creak of a door opening. But it's only a few inches. And as your footsteps get louder and closer, you hear that same door slam shut in a rather loud way. And the dog just is sitting in front of that door. And just every 10 or 15 seconds, it'll just give one single bark. And Josh, as you walk, you're getting more tired. You're having trouble staying on your feet. You're just, you are going to have one level of exhaustion as of right now.
Okay. And, I'm sorry. Petrum would kind of, as he walks, you guys have seen him, traveling for however many weeks or months the party's been together. You would have seen him. He may look a little older for a gnome, but he still has a little pep in his step. And if anybody looked at him, they would notice that he's really sluggish. Like his head is slouched and he's breathing kind of heavy as he trails behind the pack.
Are you all right? You seem to be about as energetic as this dog.
Pitchum would give kind of like a weak laugh. uh, I don't know what came over me over there, but it hasn't passed yet.
And what about you, Jeremy? You're kind of leading the pack there. You're probably the closest one to the door. What would you do?
Well, hearing the gnome kind of fall back and turning around to look at him for a moment, seeing that he slouched over, I'll take a water skin from my pack that's tied on the outside and hand it over to him, and then look to everybody and say, well, looks like this is where the dog wants to lead us to. And kind of motion to see if everybody thinks it's a good idea to check inside or at least make our presence known by knocking on the door or whatnot.
Okay. And what about the other two of you guys, Joseph and Jason? What would you guys like to do?
Well, I mean, we heard the door slam, so I imagine they're already aware of us being here. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt to knock and announce our presence.
So would you be knocking?
I have 2 brave dwarves who can knock on the door for me.
Okay, who would like to knock on the door?
Well, as it says in the good old scripture, better to spring an ambush than wait and have it sprung on you. I'll step forward and boldly knock on the door.
And after a few minutes, you don't hear anything, but as far as the door goes, but you do hear some rustling on the inside, and you hear the dog kind of whimpering as those sounds come, and you hear the latch on the door go click, and you see the door open just about an inch, and you don't see anyone, but you hear a voice that you don't expect. You hear a very sweet, lovely little girl's voice. And she says, Can I help you?
Oh, we found your dog. Is this your dog?
No, he's not mine. I tried to feed him, but he was. I had to put him over in the market. He was. We don't have enough food for him, and he was. Well, he just had to stay there. He can't come inside.
Perhaps you could tell us why your town is so abandoned, perhaps.
It's been like this for some time. But me and my family, we're fine, thank you.
Child, we're here to help. Look, I have food, and I'll rustle through my pack and pull out a small parcel of some of the rations I have. And child, just open the door. We're not the bad people here. We come carrying the good word. And I'll smile, big dwarven smile, and hand the food forward, but not close enough that it can be reached and grabbed through the door. But they'll have to open the door to grab it.
And you see the door open just a little bit more, and you just see, like, I don't know how you would do it. You just see like an eye, just kind of looking at everybody. And she says, I'm not supposed to let anyone in. There's bad people around here. You can't come in. I'm sorry. And you see that door again quickly close, and you hear that latch go again. And with that, the dog begins to whimper again and start barking.
As that exchange would be going on, I imagine that the 3 of them would have approached the door, and as he was handed the water skin, Petrum would kind of plop down on his rump and just thirstfully drink from the water skin and say, "Thank you."
And give me a con save, Josh.
An 8.
As you down this water, the exhaustion, you feel more exhausted than you've ever in your entire life. Like you can't keep your eyes open. Like everything just feels heavy. And you actually, as you're sitting on kind of the stoop in front of this house, I imagine that you like lean back and you sort of continue to lean until you are out. You are like your eyes just slowly close. And you are completely out, asleep, unconscious, however you want to say it, but you are not aware at this point. And seeing this, what would the three of you do?
Are you all right? I know you are a little tired, but I don't know if I would sleep in the middle of a circumstance like this. And you'd see the elf kind of kneel down and roughly shake the unconscious individual.
And as a cleric, you've dealt with healing before. You know that this is not, he's just tired. There's something wrong. You probably don't know what it is, but he is not well, and you would know that. I don't think the dwarves would, but you certainly would.
I feel like maybe whatever's affecting this town has taken hold of our friend. I'm not really sure how to deal with this. I can heal wounds, not so much the mind.
And what would the dwarves be doing? Jeremy, what would you be doing?
I would be curious about that rustling in the bushes and kind of positioning myself closer to that sound to where I could maybe peek over the bushes, but not really get on the side of the house. So I'd still be in view of the rest of the party, but kind of closer to that sound.
Hey, just
Curious about what it might have.
Just to clarify, I apologize if I didn't explain it right. The rustling sound was actually coming from the little girl inside of the house. There was no bushes, or she was just rustling inside of the house. Sorry if I didn't explain that right.
That's right. Then I would go to the dog to comfort it, to let it know that it's okay. We're still around, but I'd be concerned about what possibly caused the gnome to essentially pass out.
Would you be touching the dog? Would you touch the dog?
No, but I would put out my hand to give it like a gesture of safeness or.
Okay. And as you do that same thing, where the dog seems to be looking past you and begins to growl, that kind of. And with that, Jason, what would you be doing during this time?
Noticing that was it Petrum had decided to have a bit of a nap. I'll look over. This is a strange time for a nap, though I appreciate the level of bravery that is being shown by our good friend the gnome. Again, I hear the dog growl, and I'm going to be a little more concerned. Maybe just tighten that grip on my axe and play back in my mind as we were walking down the street if I happen to notice an apothecary along the way.
You're familiar with that sign, and you remember about halfway between where you came in and here that there was one that you remembered, but you did I would imagine that you would have tried that door on the way out, and it did not look to be open. But you did see one, though.
It appears our friend is in some need of assistance, and our good friend the cleric here can't provide. I suggest we go back and try and prise the door to the apothecary and see if we can get the help that we need.
And Joseph, you would also notice that the gnome is breathing. The gnome isn't really, it doesn't seem like he's having trouble or that he's at death's door. He's just unconscious. You would notice that his breathing isn't erratic. He's, fine. His pulse is fine. He just seems to be out of it, just either sleeping or unconscious.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like some sort of magical ailment. I'm not an expert in the most extreme of cases, but I don't know what an apothecary would do. I mean, this seems like something a nice rest might cure, though. Would I be able to figure anything else out beyond that with a medicine check, or?
Yeah, that's all right. Give me a medicine check.
Sure.
And if anyone else wants to do like an Arcana check or something like that, you can do that too, and just put it in the chat, please.
With my +5 modifier, I got a very powerful 7.
Then you know exactly what I've already told you.
Yeah, he just needs a good night's rest, guys. I think we'll just get him in one of these beds and hopefully we can find an abandoned house.
Okay.
Look around, good friend. All these houses are abandoned, but the one in front of us. Take your pick. But while I'm saying this, I'm walking over and I'm going to try and nudge Petrum to try and wake them up as if they're just in a normal sleep.
As you do, he doesn't come to. But Petrum individually, you very oddly, you feel this kind of sense of weightlessness. And you feel yourself actually coming out of your sleeping body, almost hovering 3 or 4 feet above yourself. You only see in blacks and whites and grays, kind of that grayscale look. Think about like the Hobbit when he put on the ring. Everything's different. You hear talking, you hear speaking, but you can't understand the language. You look down at your companions and at your sleeping body, and it's almost surreal. And then you can almost feel yourself getting pulled back in to your body. It's a very odd sensation, but something is pulling you back in. And just a few moments before, you are kind of back into that darkness. You peer down the street, and in the direction that dog was looking and growling, you see a white, glowing humanoid figure just standing there several feet from one of the dwarves. You can't make out facial features, but it glows white. And then you are back in your body, but still unconscious. Yet your mind is active. You can hear and feel what's going on, but you can't say anything. You can't move.
Is this like similar to like her sleep paralysis type deal?
Similar, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I imagine that like as he kind of ascends from his body, as he would float above and see his companions below, as he kind of came back to his body. It's like when you have the dream that you're falling, and you hit the ground and you come to, but he doesn't come to. It's just that blackness again. And then, yeah, I mean, as he kind of comes back into that grayscale-esque type deal, and he sees the figure down the street, and just like that, he falls back into the blackness.
And of course, the other three of you wouldn't be seeing this. You wouldn't know what's going on. You would just see him sleeping. But you would notice that the dog starts to bark louder and growl louder and begins to take a few steps toward away from the door and towards the other side of the road. And as you do that, as you see that, you hear the door open again, and you hear that little girl's voice again. You can't be out here. I'm not supposed to have people in here, but please, just come in. It isn't safe. Just come in.
All right, we promise not to get you in trouble with your parents, okay?
She just kind of looks at you and just nods. But she very, very much wants you in there right now.
I walk towards the door ahead of my companions, and as I get close enough to the door, I'll start to push it open so I can see inside.
Okay.
And just be ready for whatever happens.
Yeah, you push the door open, and it is just a wooden kind of cottage. Wooden table, several wooden chairs. There's no light in there as far as like a hearth or anything like that. You don't notice any food, any beds or anything like that. This is a 2-story cottage. You can see the ceiling above you. But all you see is this dirty, this blonde-haired little girl, probably 6 or 7 years old, just hair matted and dirty, muddy, her clothes dirty, smells to high heaven. And she is holding onto that door, just kind of beckoning you in quickly. And as she does that, the dog is starting to, again, bark and just really starting to sound aggressive out there. Would you guys all go in as quick as possible, or what?
As soon as the dog starts to bark and growl, I'll stop and step back across the threshold, look towards my companions, and say, in Scripture, it says that a rich man will give away all his monies if he has a hunger or a thirst. I find it strange that this person turned away food initially and now is inviting us in. I think we should go with caution, and I'll step back across the threshold.
Okay. So across the threshold, in or out?
Out.
Oh, okay. What about the rest of you? Jeremy and
Surely this child can't be that dangerous. I mean, why don't we just take a look, and if anything crazy happens, then we can just hop on out and be none the worse off.
Jeremy?
Actually, I was going to ask for that Arcana check. I got a 15. I don't have a chat to put it in because I'm using my phone.
That's
so,
fine.
would I know anything different than the others?
With the 15, you would notice that his inability to be woken up, even being shook and yelled at, basically, that it looks eerily similar to a spell that you've seen performed before. It looks eerily similar to the sleep spell. And the effects are something that you have felt and seen in your lifetime.
But I wouldn't know how to possibly correct that.
No.
Right?
As a fighter, no. You wouldn't have that knowledge.
Okay. Yeah, I'd follow the others if they're going in.
Okay. So, from what I'm understanding, that Jeremy and Joseph are going to pull Josh in, correct? And Jason is going to be standing right outside on the stoop, outside of the threshold, correct?
Well, I'll head in. I don't know. I'm not going to force anyone to go in if they don't wish to go in.
Okay.
But I definitely will approach.
Okay. Are you going to be taking the gnome's body with you?
Yes, I suppose. I can carry a gnome with 12 strength, I suppose.
Yeah, he's like 40 pounds.
Yeah,
It's like
he's not incredibly heavy.
it's like a big sack of potatoes. You're fine. So with Jeremy and you inside, just a few feet inside, Jason, you see that dog taking a few more steps away. And for a moment, the dog goes silent. But then, and the dog's probably 10 feet away from you, but then you see the side of this dog from the shoulder down all the way to its back leg split open. And blood just rush from this gaping wound. You can see the bones from this thing's ribs. Something has torn this thing open, and this dog falls down and just begins to kind of whimper and yelp as this pool of blood begins to surround it. And when you see that, you don't notice anything else. But you do notice that once this dog stops whimpering and stops yelping, that it looks as if something that you can't see has grabbed it, and the dog begins to be pulled on its side away from this door. Slowly, just as if some invisible humanoid is pulling it with each step. It just keeps that steady pace. But again, the only thing left is this bloody trail from where this thing is dragged as it slowly goes out of your view.
Are my companions inside the cottage now?
Yes, you're the only one who saw that.
All right. Then I will step into the cottage and close the door. Friends, that dog is no more. Strange things are afoot in this town. The body tore apart, tore asunder, and no other creature was in sight. I watched the body be dragged down the street. I rushed here to tell you the news and close the door to keep us safe. This place is bad, and I'll finger the holy symbol I carry with me all the time.
Okay. And you would see this little girl, as you say that, she would just kind of look at you completely unfazed by what you said. She said, "Yeah, that's what happened to most of them. But they left that dog alone. I don't know why they would do that now. Maybe they ran out of food. I don't know. But they haven't come in the house before, so if we stay in the house, we'll be okay."
Perhaps you could explain to us what's going on here?
What's going on here?
Invisible monsters eating dogs in the streets? I don't understand.
Oh, I don't know if they eat them, but most of the animals were killed. That's why we don't have a lot of food. You see, well, maybe it's easier if I just show you. Here, why don't you come meet my parents? And she begins to walk up the stairs in the house, and she motions to the elf, to the wood elf, and she says, "He'll be safe. You can leave him here. Just put him on the ground. He'll be fine." And she walks up the stairs and stops about halfway up, motioning towards you guys.
We leave our friend laying on the floor in the kitchen here. I've forgotten the name of the other characters. Sorry. Do we leave him here? Do we leave Petrum in here, or do we bring him with us? What do you think? I can only recall that in my days going over the scripture, how it was often said that a bird in the hand is worth.
If someone drop out.
It's like Drake's frozen for me.
A dungeon master has been stricken down by a greater force.
At least I managed to get back.
I was confused for a moment. I was like, I thought I had disconnected.
What about now?
Yep, there you go.
Okay. That's very strange because I could hear everyone. I could see and hear everyone, but you guys are telling me, oh, we just lost the DM. I'm like, no, DM's right here.
Yeah, I think
that's very.
I don't know about everybody else, but the part that you froze up for me was Jason was saying something about leaving Petrum in the kitchen, and then it seemed like he froze up.
So yeah, Jason, are you here? Okay, I see you unmuting, but I can't hear you. Can anyone else hear him?
No, I can't hear him.
Okay, you might want to relog too, Jason. Joseph, are you here?
I am certainly here.
Okay, sorry guys. Sometimes we have technical.
Google Hangouts is known for its lack of.
Yeah, what kind of hangout would it be?
Yeah, man, I went for like 2 years without having any technical issues, and then they screwed everything up like 6 months ago, and my laptop can't handle Twitch, so or what is it, XSplit? So hopefully we'll get Jason back in here. The last thing I heard was something about leaving him on the kitchen floor. So hopefully we'll get him back in. But while we're doing that, Jeremy, what would you be doing?
I would be filling the rest of the party in about the sleep spell that possibly is the cause of our friend's slumber, and not knowing how to correct that, but thinking that maybe we can go to that store after all.
Okay. Jason, can you hear us? or can you speak?
Up.
Jason? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Jason just said to hang on, so.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Yep.
1.
Yep, we're good, man. All right, so Jeremy was filling the party in about he had seen something like this before in a sleep spell. You were talking about leaving your friend on the floor of the kitchen. Why don't you continue that, Jason?
Friends, is it wise in such hostile environment to leave our friend unguarded and unable to defend themselves here?
I mean, let's carry him with us, and then I'll put him down right next to us before we do anything too crazy.
Anybody else flashing on C-3PO in Empire Strikes Back, I think it was, where Chewie's carrying him on his back?
That's awesome.
Luckily, he's in one piece, so that's good.
He's a lot lighter than C-3PO, I guarantee it. So if you guys decide to do that, you kind of carry him up, and she takes you to a bedroom where you see two humans very neatly tucked in bed. You see, they're well kept. Their hair looks brushed. They look a little, I don't know, thin, but you can hear them both breathing. And she looks at all of you and she said, "This is my mother and this is my dad. They've been sleeping a long time, but I make sure that I can give them water and feed them. And they're not like the other people. I'm trying to keep them with us because I don't have anyone else. They have to stay with me."
They have. I'm not sure. What do you mean?
What do you mean? With what? This is my mom and dad.
Say it again. What they look like? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
They are tucked very neatly in bed, both laying on their back. They both appear to be sleeping. You can hear them breathing. They're both very thin. You can see kind of their cheekbones kind of like sucked into their face. Next to the bed, you can see kind of a big thing of water. And you see her kind of pour some of the water into a smaller glass and kind of go to each of them and just put a few drops in their mouth. And she's just smiling the whole time and just kind of laughing,
Would I be able to medically tell if this is similar to what my companion is under? Does this look like the same kind of sleep?
It looks like they're sleeping just like your companion.
Child, how long has your parents have they been asleep?
Oh, I stopped counting the days, but maybe a month, maybe 2. I don't really know. It could be longer.
And before that, did you know any other children? Did they have parents here as well, perhaps?
You mean in Dawson?
Yes, in the city.
Oh yes, there were hundreds of. My school alone had 100 kids. They were my friends, but they're not here anymore.
What happened to them?
Well, most of them left. Some of them are still here, but the only one I know is Sarah. Sarah is still here.
Is Sarah sleeping too?
I don't know. I haven't seen haven't seen Sarah in a long time. She's over there, and she points just in a direction down deeper into the town. She said, "But I have my parents here, and they're still here, and I'm going to keep doing this, and eventually they're going to wake up."
Other than the jug of water by the bed, is this room like dusty, or is it unkempt like the little?
It's imagine a room and a house that a 6 or 7-year-old attempted to keep clean with no parental supervision. That's what this looks like. The child's not going to dust. The child's not going to do a very good job, but the child is going to do as best as she can. If you have children, you know what that means.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, I'll crouch down on one knee so that I'm basically eye to eye. Child, I can see you have taken good care of your parents in their time of great need. My name is Harfin Fjall, and I promise you I will help you, and I'll put out my hand in a greeting. Your name, dear?
Oh, my name's Emma. 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 And there was another one who said he would help, but he didn't come back. So you guys, you all seem nice. You shouldn't try to help. You should just go. Just go. I'll take care of my mom and dad. You should just go.
Well, Emma, it would weigh heavy on my soul and my companions here as well if we did not help you. You pointed to where there were others. Can you tell us where that is?
Well, I know a lot of people are in the church. I wouldn't recommend going there though. They're not. It's not a good place. This town isn't a good place. The only safe place is right here with my mom and dad. They keep me safe, and I keep them safe. And if you stay here, they'll keep you safe. You shouldn't go.
Emma, you keep saying they'll keep you safe. How are you staying safe? How is it that you've not been taken by this evil that has befallen your town?
I just told you, my parents keep me safe. They said that they always would, and they do. I don't know how, I just know that it's true, and they told me the truth. And I do what they told me to do. I stayed right here. I've only been out a few times because I have to eat a little bit, and I have to drink, and I have to get water. But as long as I don't go at night, usually I'm okay. Jeremy, Josh, or Joseph?
What exactly happens at night?
It gets really loud. And I don't really want to. And you can see her kind of cringing and getting really scared. And she's like, it's just don't be outside at night. If you stay in here, you'll be safe. It just, you don't need to be outside at night. And she almost, like, you can see in her face that she's getting scared, but then she kind of straightens up, and like she's convinced herself that she's not going to be scared of it. And she's like, you just need to stay here. And she kind of stomps her foot.
That's pretty firm of you to say, slamming your foot down. Is there something that you're not telling us? Is it somehow, I don't know, worse than what you're saying?
And she kind of glares at you. She's like, fine, they're all dead, okay? Everyone. They're all in the church and they're all dead. And if you go to the church, you'll be dead too. So don't go to the church and stay here.
Well, that's kind of strange, gentlemen.
I take it Petram's still deep sleep.
We're getting to him in just a second.
No, it's okay. I heard you call my name, so I was just like, he's sleeping. He's snoring.
I think Jason actually said gentlemen.
Madness took me, and it is past.
Well, I mean, gentleman is a loose term, I imagine.
And with that, guys, Josh, again, you feel that kind of pulling outside of yourself, and you see this, you see your party again. You see this small girl. You see these two people laying in bed. But standing next to that girl are again two humanoid, just white glowing figures. You don't see any, again, no features. Everything's just so bright. In a kind of a landscape of grays and blacks, these humanoids are this bright white. And the larger one looks up at you and says, "Hello."
And as the bigger, I guess it would say a spectral creature kind of speaks, after not hearing anything for quite some time, Petram would kind of go to his sides. Does he have access to his equipment? I know it's like a dream state, but
Everything that you had on you is currently with you, just in a different form.
okay. And so as the voice would boom, he would reach for his side and pull a dagger, but with such force that his like ghost or spirit would kind of flutter around aimlessly. Who are you?
This is my house. Your companions are speaking to my daughter. Why are you here?
I don't know. I fed a dog and I backed up and I felt really tired. And then one of my companions offered me a water skin, and I drank from it. As I drank from it, I don't know. I fell asleep.
You've fallen into what just about everyone in this town has. Everyone seems to have fallen asleep or been killed. Those of us who remain have found safety within our homes. But if we step out, we will be taken. Our oldest son was taken. Now we stay here and we make sure that nothing hurts Emma.
So I'm not dead?
Not yet.
As you say that, you kind of see his face would sink in a little bit as he just cringes at the thought of death. I mean, he's been in some perilous situations, but nothing quite this otherworldly.
And with that, he says, you will wake up soon. This is just the first time you have fallen asleep. If you want to leave here, please take my daughter with you. But do not go out at night. There are things that you cannot imagine that lurk these streets. So many have left, but the ones that remain, the ones that were taken, do wander. We can hear them at night. You can hear their cries. You can hear their wails. And we protect Emma from this. Don't let her go outside. She told your friends not to go to the church. You tell them that too.
Kind of in the last moments of of him being ascended, or so to speak, as he would kind of fall back down to his body. I'll protect her. I swear it.
And as you do, you go back into your body, and you slowly begin to come to. Just kind of half asleep, half awake. What would you say to your companions?
What I imagine they would see. I don't know who was carrying me, but whoever was carrying me and put me on the ground next to them. What was kind of rhythmic, the breathing is, and he just takes an extra long breath, like almost abnormal for the past however long he's been asleep. He just, as he wakes, and he looks around and sees his companions and also the little girl, and he kind of opens his eyes, kind of wipes, trying to get the blurriness out of his field of view. You must be the daughter.
And she says, "You're tiny. I think I'm bigger than you."
And how would he feel like coming to? Is he back at his full strength, or?
No, he would be groggy. You don't suffer from any exhaustion, but he would. It's like you had a really good sleep and you're waking up, just
Okay.
kind of groggy head.
And everybody else would kind of see it, and instead of the normal pep in his step, he just kind of to one knee and he lifts himself up.
Yep.
Hadn't you ever seen a gnome before, girl?
She smiles and said, "Don't worry, I'll protect you."
What's your name, little one?
My name's Emma. I said that already.
I'm sorry. I guess I was sleeping. I saw your parents.
They're right there. And she points towards the bed.
If I looked behind, I assume I wouldn't have seen them.
No, you see them laying in the bed, but
Oh, right, yeah. But so she points to the bed, but where I saw them, they were standing beside her.
correct.
Yeah. No, I spoke to them. They spoke to me. We talked.
Oh, well, would you tell them to come back, please? Because I'm a little hungry, and I really need them back.
They said that they can't come back right now. They're protecting you. But I did vow that I would protect you too. And if we left this town, you would come with us. We would bring you to safety.
But what about Mom and Dad?
Hopefully we can wake them up. I don't know what kind of spell this is, but I was only out of it for maybe an hour. How long has it been since they've been asleep?
It isn't a spell. Everyone knew what it was, and nobody paid attention until it was too late. And she looks over at the dwarves, and she says, living here, there were men like my mom and dad, and there were dwarves like these guys, and I've never seen one of those." And she points to the wood elf. But there were a lot of people, and the ones that were smart, they're the ones that left. But this isn't a spell. This is something. I think what did Father Fred say? He said it was a dark spirit. He said it in church a long time ago that we had to watch for them. And he said Sarah was a dark spirit and that we had to get rid of her. But no one believed him. So they should have listened. Sarah wasn't very nice to anyone. And then she just kind of turns away and goes back to giving her parents some water. Jeremy, upon hearing that, what would you say? What would you be thinking or feeling?
I would get a few strips of dried meat because she said she was hungry, and I would walk over to her. I imagine we're close in height, so it would almost be eye level. And I would place that meat in her hand and say, "This person, are they awake?"
Person? Do you mean Sarah? Yeah. She's in the church. It's where she was. She can't leave the church. But some other things do. But you shouldn't go there. They, as I said, she isn't good. And you can tell that she's got very limited vocabulary being her age. She's just using very kind of small words. And as you talk more and more about it, she's noticeably getting more uncomfortable, and just more frustrated with the situation. And good.
I would also put a small dagger beside, like on a little nightstand next to her, and kind of to help keep her safe, put her mind at ease.
Okay. And with that, you guys just suddenly hear a very large bang at the front door. You hear like a, and then you hear a, and that kind of scratching is getting louder and faster on the front door. Even being upstairs, you can hear it coming down the hallway.
Sounds like a dog trying to get back in the house. That's strange.
Is there a window that looks out over the doorway?
There is, but there is a little bit of an awning over that kind of stoop. You can see the street, and you don't see anything. But whatever, if it's right at the door, whatever's there, you would not see it from this vantage. And then you begin to hear some barking. What would you like to do?
Do we want to say hi to our dog friend who may be a monster?
Said with such zeal.
I think our brave dwarves would relish the opportunity to investigate that.
Okay. How would you like to investigate that? Would you like to just run right out, open the door? What would you like to do?
At the first sound of the loud bang, and Petrum, he kind of is excitable. He kind of jumps at the bang, and from behind his back, he pulls what seems like to a normal person would be a light crossbow. It's almost as big as him. As he pulls it over his shoulder and garnishes it in two hands.
Okay.
Wise friend Petrum, as it says in scripture, never leave home ahead of your axe, sword, or bow. Very wise. I'll rub my chin knowingly. I guess it's time we go and investigate. And I will very slowly and quietly, as quiet as I can be, start to head down the stairs.
Okay. And would all four of you go downstairs, or who's staying up and who's going down? Why don't we, Jason? What are you going to be doing? You're going down. Jeremy.
Did the door have like any kind of peephole on it?
It had a keyhole, but not really a peephole. Like there's a place for a key.
All right. Yeah, I would go down and cautiously look through that. Obviously, not being right up against the door, but from a few inches away.
Okay. Joseph.
I'll stand at the top of the stairs. Can I have a clear vantage point of the door from there?
Yeah, if you go about halfway down the stairs, you'd be able to see the whole layout of the bottom floor as well as the front door.
And I'll keep an eye on the girl as they open the door.
Okay. And finally, Josh.
So let me just get it straight. So coming down the stairs, you have a clear side of the door if you come down a little ways.
Think about if you're walking down the stairs. The stairs are like at the back of this room, of this level.
Okay.
It's flat a few feet, and then to your right is going to be the door, but it's probably 20 feet away in like a 20 by 10 foot room.
So you come down the stairs and turn right, and the door's on that side?
Correct.
Okay. So yeah, Petrum would kind of cautiously work his way down the stairs, which I assume they're wooden. So trying cautiously to be as quiet as possible. And I'd like to stealth if you don't mind.
Sure.
Let's see. Jeez, man, what is going on tonight? It's 11.
Yeah, well, you're on the inside, so you should be able to find a nice little place to hide. That's fine. So you guys, again, as you're all coming down, you still hear and it's getting louder, and you're actually noticing that there are some places between the planks that the gaps are actually starting to get bigger, that whatever is out there kind of scratching at it is actually looks like it's almost digging through the door. And you hear more barking. And now it doesn't sound like it's just one creature out there barking. It looks like there's several. And they just keep scratching and keep barking and keep scratching and keep barking. Looking through that keyhole, Jeremy, you just make out shapes. You don't really make out specifically what it is, but you see fur, you see red, and occasionally you'll see the white, like a white flash of teeth, but nothing you can really see from that vantage. So
I would bring up the shield and kind of thump it against the door to startle the creatures making the sound, or possibly scare them away.
okay, give me an intimidation roll, please.
That's not good. I got a 2.
Okay, so you basically knock your shield against the door, and all that does is seem to excite them. You know, instead of just the bark, 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 it's bark, 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 bark. It's just really, I know, I just did that. I just did bark, bark. But they seem to get even more excited, and it just goes faster and faster and faster until finally you actually hear kind of a, and you see 2 of the panels on the bottom of the door split, and they kind of open up in about halfway through the door before it gets stuck. You see that same dog that you met earlier, still emaciated, and has this slice down its side where its bones are still protruding. You see its eyes glazed over, and it is moving. It is alive. And I need all of you to roll for initiative. And just put it in chat, unless you're Jeremy, then. Josh, you need to change dice, dude.
Yeah, no shit, huh?
I got 18.
Okay. And Jason, there you go. All right. So Joseph, you are first. You see this creature just kind of halfway, 3/4 of the way through, kind of get stuck a little bit in these panels, but it's just barking. This is like I said, the remains of that creature from earlier.
Yes,
What would you like to do?
Jasmine would be looking down into the strange spectacle, and she kind of pauses. And the only thing she can do in the situation, you see her kind of whisper something underneath her breath. She says, Lathander, please guide us on this dark hour. And you just see 3 waves of light kind of burst out. And she targets everybody in the party with the exception of the unfortunate gnome with a bless spell. And the forms are coalesced in like a wreath of fire. Your hands kind of glow as you're affected by the bless spell.
Okay.
And you can add a d4 to all of your attack rolls and saving throws for the next 2 minutes.
Okay. Let's go next. I mean, it doesn't matter. Let's go with Jason next, and then we'll go to Jeremy.
Egad, hell is empty, for all the demons are here. I'll start stepping towards the closest enemy, and I'll just let fly with my battle axe.
Okay. Roll to hit.
Looks like 20.
That hits. Roll me some damage and tell me what it looks like.
Okay, I'm sorry to break character for a second here, but that 1d4, is that for damage or for to hit?
No, that's 2 hit.
Okay. And then you wanted me to roll damage, you said?
Yep. Just roll me some damage and tell me what it looks like.
Oh, nice. Harfin steps forward and just whistling the blade through the air, cleaves through the shoulder of the emaciated creature in front of him, gouts of blood, and run cleanly down the front of the beast for, what did I say it was again? 13 points of damage.
13 points. Awesome. Okay. Jeremy.
Well, hearing the claws of the animals break through the door, he took a quick step back, reaches up to behind his head, top of his head, and pulls down a skull mask resembling that of a gorilla. And his form is similar to a gorilla, and he's kind of hunched over, and you hear him make that grunting, and he charges forward, kind of sidestepping and shuffling as he brings his hand axe down on what he thought was the dead dog, but obviously it's not. As he does that, he kind of has the shield in front of him, but he's hitting it like that.
Okay. Roll to hit for me.
All right. And I roll the d4 with that?
Yeah, you roll a 20, and then you roll a d4. And don't forget to add your to hit modifiers.
Okay. That would be...
I think it's +5 to hit for you.
Yeah, I looked at the wrong spot and got confused.
No problem.
That would be total of 12.
That is not going to hit. So I would imagine that you're kind of hacking with it, and you're just you haven't loosened up yet. You just barely miss him. You just kind of graze him a little bit with it. Next is actually going to be this creature. And this creature is actually going to move all the way in to the room. And there is actually going to be another one that comes behind it. Still just awful, just rotten smelling looking animal, just kind of fur matted with blood and everything. But the second one is going to be coming in after. And he is going to be jumping towards you, Jeremy. And I don't think what's your AC?
17.
Okay, he actually just rolled an 18, so he's actually gonna bite just into your arm as you're holding that axe, and you're gonna take 5 piercing damage when his teeth just latch on there. This second one as well is actually going to go for you as well, but you get your shield up in time, and it just kind of bounces off of it. Josh, your turn.
Okay, so I would imagine that Petrum essentially took cover behind, maybe it was like a piece of furniture, something solid, and he would kind of watch as the scene played out. As he sat behind the furniture, he would lift these spectacles that he had been wearing pretty much the entirety of the journey. He almost always wears them out in the open light, but being it's kind of dark in here, he just kind of lifts them up, puts them on his head, and you see his eyes. He brings the crossbow up as he easy, and he's gonna take a shot at the first one that initially landed the hit on Jeremy. Let's see. Oh, jeez. You're right. I need to switch my dice out. That's a 10.
Did you roll your d4 with it?
I didn't get the inspiration. I don't think I was in range.
Oh, that's right. You didn't. Okay, yeah, that one misses. That one does not hit. I imagine it just glances off and just kind of sticks into the wall. But we're back around the top to Joseph.
All right. I can see that there's just the 2 dogs here, correct?
Correct. There's only 2 in there right now. Correct.
All right. You'd see her kind of pause, thinking for a moment, and she would make another weird hand sign, and you'd see the symbol on her. You'd see like a little badge of a sun on it would glow, and right next to the 2 beasts, a floating spectral hammer would appear, kind of radiating with the light of the sun as it would rear back and attempt to swipe out at one of these demon dog creature things.
Which one? The one that just latched onto Jeremy's arm, or the one that just came through? Okay.
That's a 19 to hit.
Absolutely. Roll me some damage.
Yeah, you can see this thing club the dog for 5 damage.
And so describe how you killed, how this basically spectral weapon kills this creature.
You just see this spectral weapon just crack the creature's skull open and just part its head from its body as you just see gore kind of spill out.
Yeah.
Well, that's I didn't mean to do that. That's disgusting.
And I would imagine that as you smash this thing's skull, it actually splatters in it. Jeremy, I think you would turn your head, but like one side of it would kind of have the splatter of the brain matter in this thing. Just kind of.
Oh, I guess I was too late with that. That's okay. I don't wash off or burn off. Wash off.
And Jason, you just saw this one get his skull crushed in by this kind of spectral weapon. What would you like to do?
I'd like to press the attack, if I may.
Go ahead. You're muted again, bud.
Sorry about that. 17.
That hits. Roll me some damage.
8. Pressing the attack, I draw the battle axe out of the shoulder of the creature I had hit already. As I bring the blade back, there's a spatter of blood off the blade, which takes the creature off guard, catching it across the muzzle, and I crash the axe down on its forelimb for, I've forgotten how many points damage I did, but
8.
for that amount of damage.
Okay, awesome. Jeremy?
I imagine that the only other animal that's inside that I can attack is currently, there's him currently between me and that animal. So what I'm going to do is attempt to uh, not necessarily flip over him, but leap and try and jump over. And as I'm doing that, I drop the hand axe and pull out my spear from my pack, and I want to come down and impale the creature.
Give me an acrobatics check first. And I know that's not actually. You know what? Give me an athletics or an acrobatics, whichever one you prefer. I go athletics.
It's a not natural 20.
Awesome. Okay, so you do succeed. Now, when you're up there, roll to hit.
Okay.
You succeed in your little jump.
That would be 24.
That absolutely hits. Roll me some damage.
All
as you
right.
come down with the spear on top of this thing and impale it.
That's only going to be 5.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, it is going to be this creature's turn. Now, okay. It is basically, you are in front of it, correct, Jason? Because you pressed the attack. So you got it in, okay. So what it's going to do, as basically Jeremy's got it skewered with his spear kind of through its back. So it can't really move per se, but it looks at you, and for a moment you see this kind of green, kind of viscous fluid dripping from its jaws, and you see it open its mouth, and basically this fluid just projectile vomits, for lack of a better phrase, towards you. What's your AC? He rolled a 16.
My AC is 17.
Well, then this stuff gets on your armor, and it smells just putrid and disgusting. But you don't get anything on you, and you don't take any damage. But it's just gross. It's just kind of fetid, putrid disgustingness. That's there as basically just vomited on you. Josh. Might want to unmute.
Yeah. So Petrum would kind of crouch down beside the cover as he reloads his crossbow. Come on now, easy. And as he comes back up over the top, he sees that it's kind of skewered into the ground. There's no way you can miss this one. And I rolled a 6, so he actually does miss it completely. It's a 6 plus 4, but for another 10. But yeah, he completely misses.
Yeah, you gotta roll some new dice, dude. Those are terrible.
Actually, just switched out. And yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, then we'll go back up to the top to Joseph, as this thing just vomited on Jason, and the gnome keeps putting bolts in this crossbow and keep missing. What would you like to do?
All right, so one is dead and the other one is alive but vomiting?
It vomited and it skewered through its back and kind of held in place by Jeremy's spear.
Oh, and it's still alive. Oh, well,
It is
mildly terrifying. You'd see her kind of look a bit worried. She pulls back the strings of her bow, just wanting this thing to go away.
Okay.
Please, I don't need you here anymore. And with just one pull of the bow, with the powerful 11. No, wait. Plus 13 to hit on the creature.
That actually hits, barely.
All right. So you see the arrow kind of fly wide, but by the blessing of a god, I suppose, you see this arrow strike true, hitting this creature for 9 damage.
Describe what it looks like when you kill this thing.
All right, you kind of see Jasmine's kind of shaking a little bit disturbed by the just vomiting and the arrow kind of goes a little bit wide, but curves around and just pierces the side of this creature's head and just bursts out the back of the same head as it kind of limps and falls over dead.
And again, with Jeremy, you're so close when this thing heads gets caved in. As this arrow goes back out, you get a splatter of that blood again. So now the front of your mask and the one side is kind of covered in the blood and brain matter of these creatures. And as this happens and both of these are killed, again, that silence returns. And as you pull your weapons free and try not to, slip and fall in the mess, these things over the course of about 30 seconds melt into just puddles of bloody, hairy goo on the floor. And this hole in the door is there. The child, you all notice, is standing at the front, at the top of the stairs, and she's just nodding at all of you. And we're going to take a 5-minute bio break, guys. Sorry for the kind of technical issues here, but we probably have, we'll take take about 5-10 minute break, and then do what you need to do, get a drink, go to the bathroom, and then probably have about another hour or hour and a half. Yay for one shots. So I'll be back in a minute. Talk amongst yourselves if you'd like.
So are we still being filmed then, or like streaming, or is that stopped as well?
It's still recording, yeah.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said, yes, it's still recording, but nobody's here right now.
Okay, what kind of a character do you have?
I have a elven cleric.
Are you playing Jasmine?
Yes.
Is that a lady wood elf or a man wood elf?
It's a lady with elves.
Thank you. What part of the world you in?
San Diego.
You made that sound so very exotic.
All right. Let me go through my bag again and get some more dice.
Dude, I mean, you've been rolling terrible tonight, man.
Yeah, it's garbage. And that's the set that usually rolls pretty high against my my players in my normal campaign.
Apparently on bad luck.
I don't think that's it.
Well,
maybe that's just the DM set. It only works when I'm the DM.
Yeah. I have usually I have 6 of these. So it's like 70 some or 80 some sets. Usually I actually have the group pick them.
But really?
we were having, because if they kill you, it's not my fault. If you pick
yes.
So sorry.
Back in the bag. All right.
Are we allowed to discuss?
Yeah, you guys go.
Your podcast stuff while we're waiting.
Yeah, dude. Whatever you want.
Oh, I was chatting a little earlier with the other fellers, and somebody asked me, or made the statement that you're a good or a great DM. I don't remember the exact quote, and I've heard that a few times about different people. I know you were looking for ideas for podcasts, and I was thinking I might talk to you about that. If that might be something you want to talk about at one of your podcasts, is not how to be a good DM, but what makes a good DM.
I mean, I think we do. Again, I think, you know what I honestly think makes a great DM? Great players. I honestly and truly believe that great players make a good DM amazing, and bad players make a good DM okay. So I think it has a lot more to do with your group and your group dynamic. But Jake and I talk a lot about aspects that we think makes for good DM. But dude, we're always looking for suggestions. Oh, Josh, I see two of you now.
Oh,
That's all right, man. Double the pleasure. You're good.
yeah.
But no, Jason, we I know you haven't listened to all of them, but we talk a lot about best practices, and you'll find that my personal strength is long, kind of elaborate campaigns where things get tied in. One shots are not my preference, but getting new people involved in the community, which is what we're doing here, is also very important. And I think, to me, and I'll certainly talk to Jake about it, but I think, to me, a good DM is somebody that just rolls with it. Like I said, I don't really prep too much. And with you guys, I'm having to
Did he just freeze for anyone else?
I thought it was me.
Looks like we lost him.
I really, really like dropping.
Yeah. I really, really like when you drop too.
Yeah. No, I just think everybody's got their style, man, and I think it's really difficult to do it right all the time. But I think we all try to learn and try to improve each time, and that's all that we can really do. But if you really want to see how I do it, there's a ton of stuff on my channel, and if you really want to see the Dragonbrain Chronicles is one I'd suggest. We do a lot of fun with that. But yeah, Jason, go to the Facebook page. We actually have a Facebook group for the podcast, and you can put all your suggestions there. And there's a bunch of crap that me and Jake put up because we're silly. So, did you have any other suggestions besides that? And actually, did you see what Dave Hubble put in the AbTab group today with Chris Perkins?
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I saw the link.
Jason, did you?
Are you drinking your kids' hugs?
Dude, yes.
How dare you? Just kidding. I ate my son's pizza Lunchable the other day.
Wait, hold on. I'm also eating my kids' goldfish because they're going to go bad in the next 2 weeks when they're gone, and it's free.
Oh, yes.
I don't have to buy more food.
It's the smart economical choice.
Mm-hmm. You have kids. But Jason, you may want to take a look at that. One of the things that he suggested, and Chris Perkins is a guy that's been writing for D&D for years and years and years, and he was like an 8-minute video about DMing, and he said the best thing that you can learn as a DM is that your game is going to end, and you're going to have another one. And each game you're going to improve, and some games you're going to click with people, and it's going to be beautiful. And it's 4 hours are going to fly by in an instant. And there's other games where you're going to sit there for 2 hours and go, oh. I give an example. I played in Jake Norman's Tomb of Horrors the other day. Matt Click was a player. I mean, okay, I had 2 hours of hell, and this group was amazing players, like top of their game, and I hated every minute of it. I had technical issues too, but I hated it. But in a normal situation, I would be dying in that group, just having a great time. So a lot of it has to do with the game and stuff. My whole thing is, man, if you have fun, you did a good thing. And if you mess up, you can try again tomorrow. So anyway, I'm sorry. I was talking too much and didn't finish my goldfish. So give me 2 seconds if everybody's back, and we'll start back up. Did you guys catch how Jason said that, by the way? Well, I've heard a bunch of people say that you're a great DM. He worded that in such a way as to mean I don't think you are, but
he didn't want to straight up come out and say.
But I've been told. Sorry,
I'm sorry, I disconnected.
Oh, Jason just insulted me. That's all. He told me I was ugly. He told me I smell bad. He told me everybody thinks so. I got a little cry, and now I'm fine.
Okay. I was just trying to say, even if you have the best players in the world, Tomb of Horrors is just a shit show of awfulness. It's one of those things where it's like we have to make this horrible dungeon so that we can advance and become better and understand how to make D&D games work.
Well, because of that game, Jake and I are actually in the process of writing our own version called The Tomb of Minor Inconvenience. I swear to God, we are actually writing this. We're about halfway through. We're shooting to have it done by Absolute Tabletop Con in July.
That's awesome.
And we are going to play it. And if it goes well, we're probably going to put it up on like Drive-Thru RPG for like 99 cents. But just a complete chuckle fuck. Drink, smoke, whatever you want to do, and just sit at your table and have a blast. And instead of this drudgery of, oh my God, I just fell into this oubliette that I'm never going to get out of. No, I just stubbed my toe. It hurt, but I'll be okay. But it's been kind of fun coming up with just ridiculous things that don't really hurt you, but happen. And I'm sure
inconvenience you.
Hence the name, right?
Paper cuts.
Mm-hmm. A whole bunch of glitter.
Oh no, an envelope full of glitter.
There's more than envelopes. Trying to think. Maybe your hands and your feet switch places. Trying to think. Maybe you all of a sudden become covered in hair. Or, I mean, dude, we wrote a 1D100 roll table for these random effects.
That's amazing.
So yeah, no, it's been a blast because it was that terrible that we had to change it. Anyway, are we all back? Yeah. A curse that when you fart, you glow blue. I think I have both of those, but not at the same time, Jason. But maybe I'll throw that in there. He suggested a curse that when you fart, you glow blue. And I would think that then you would have disadvantage on all stealth checks. So anyway, back to the game, guys. Sorry. Got a little bit off. So as these creatures kind of melt. Oops, sorry. That didn't work out. The girl looks up at you kind of very kind of agreeingly, just nodding, obviously very happy with what you guys did. And she looks at the elf. She's like, could you board up the door? I don't want the hole in the door. They'll come in again. Could you take care of that? Joseph?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Basically, the little girl just asked you to to board up the door.
I guess I could board up the door. Are more of these creatures coming?
There's a lot more of them. That was just two. There's at night. There's a lot more than that.
And how do you not? How do I put this? How do you not get eaten at night by yourself here?
Well, the only reason why they came was because they heard you. Normally, we're very quiet, and we get left alone.
I'm sorry to cause all that noise. And you'd see her kind of kneel down and try to block out the door a little bit with stuff, board it up as best she can.
And she turns to you, Josh, and she's like, "What did you mean you talked to my parents?" Whoa! What was that?
I didn't mute my microphone.
sounded like the devil came to say hello.
It's a squeaky chair.
So Josh, she looks at you and she's like, "What do you mean you talked to my parents?"
And as she says that, Jasmine, are you having a difficult time with the door, boarding it up?
I mean, I'm not a carpenter. I'm not like an expert. I suppose I could like burn. No, I don't see how burning would help us here. Do you have nails? A hammer, perhaps?
She just kind of motions towards like a corner of the house and like, that's where Dad kept all of his tools. You can check there.
As you go to check the tools, Petrum has made his way to the door. He's kneeling beside it, looking at the wood in the door. The wood which was separated, from being burst essentially by the hell puppies. And he kind of kneels beside the door. He waves his hand. He says, "No." And that is him casting the cantrip Mend on the door.
Awesome. Yeah.
I guess what you would see is kind of like the plank. The biggest part would like kind of float up and place itself, and the little splinters would kind of patchwork piece themselves back together.
And with that, Jeremy, I need you to roll me a wisdom save, please. And then I need you to roll me a con save, one after the other, please.
While he does that, I would like to answer the daughter. I completely hand waved that question. But no, as she asks, well, while I was asleep or under that curse or spell or whatever, what have you, your parents weren't in the bed. Well, their bodies were there, but their spirits, their souls, they were elsewhere. They were right behind you. They were looking over you. And I told them that I would protect you.
She kind of looks at you really, really confused, and she's like, "Who are you really?"
I just have known that was in the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess.
Well, I don't. It isn't that I don't believe you, but it's just I don't believe in fairy tales anymore.
I understand a girl like you in a situation this dire.
Jeremy, what did you roll?
Wisdom, I got a 17, and the con, I got an unnatural 20.
Then you are good to go.
Okay.
You are stout and virile and having a good old time. So, with this, she says, it kind of motions for you all to come downstairs, and she puts some stools together, and she says, "Let me tell you what I've seen." And she takes a deep breath, just kind of and she says, the priest said that Sarah had to go. And so she was my friend. And I didn't want to lose my friend. So I helped her leave, but not really. We hid her here. We hid her under the floor. And my parents helped, and I helped. But eventually, they found her. You see, she was, they said she was different. She could do things. A lot of people were scared of her. I wasn't scared of her. My mom and dad weren't scared of her, but a lot of people were. She kept talking about seeing things and talking to people. And people would see her do that, and I never saw anyone. But she was my friend, so I just said, okay. And one day she said that she had a friend that was going to help her and that she was going to take care of everything. Well, that day she left. And that night was when people started not waking up. If you go into all these houses around here, you'll find them, but they're all dead. Everybody just went to sleep. I don't know why I didn't. And my mom and dad didn't either too, but then they tried to leave. And when they tried to leave, they fell asleep. Every night you can almost hear her. And sometimes she says my name, and it's really scary. I think she will hurt you. Just like she hurt my mom and dad. You shouldn't try to see her. I'm starting to think that maybe she is bad.
As Petrum would listen to the story, he would put his spectacles back down on his eyes. When was the last time you seen her?
It's probably been a month. She came to the door once and asked if she could come in, and I said no. That was right after my parents fell asleep.
Is there any indication of where she would have been headed?
The sound always comes from that way, and she points towards kind of the center of the town where you see the church. She says, I haven't been out of the house in a long time at night. I don't know, but that's probably, if you want to know, that's probably where she is. And she looks at the dwarves, and she says, are you guys going to stay with me? Are you going to help?
We are going to help, but I would feel a little more at ease if you were at your friend's house instead of here. If two of those dogs caused that, and he points to the door, as many as you say that happens at night, there'll be no door left.
That never happened before. Sarah must be mad that you're here. I was her only friend. Maybe she thinks that I'm going to forget about her now. As I said, she isn't very nice to some people. I have to stay here with my mom and dad. Until they wake up, I have to stay. And she turns and goes back up towards the bedroom. What would you guys say to each other, just as this is all going down? What type of conversations would you guys be having amongst yourselves?
As the girl goes back upstairs, Petra would kind of hush his voice, and he would mention to the rest of the party, "They're under the same affliction I was. They're sleeping."
Yeah, but I mean, what are we supposed to do? I mean, somebody here obviously is evil or wicked or something I don't understand.
Sounds like Sarah has the whole town under her spell. Well, except for a select few. I'm not sure how I got out of it so easily.
What about you, Jeremy? What would you say in this conversation?
And if all of them died trying to leave, perhaps it's better that we go towards the church and find our way to neutralize.
So what would you guys like to do from here?
How long is it until it is dark outside?
You probably have about an hour.
Do we want to go immediately or first thing in the morning tomorrow, guys?
I don't know. I think we should set up for the night and go first thing in the morning. Should take watches, though.
All right.
I would start you. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
I would start to break apart any nightstands or small tables to try and patch that hole, make it stronger, make the door stronger.
Well, Jeremy already cast mending on it, so those planks have already been repaired.
Well, in my mind, it's only going to get worse with more of those animals, so I'd rather there be a thicker door, possibly more layers to scratch through.
Sure, if you want to do that, sure. There's there's a table there. There's a couple chairs. If you wanted to break them apart and attach them, sure you can.
And the chairs that he broke apart, I'm assuming he didn't use all the wood to patch up. There'd be like some loose wood that I could perhaps start a fire with, like a small fire to keep light in the building, because I assume it's dark in here.
Sure, absolutely. Like I said, you could still use that furniture if you want to break it up.
Yeah, Petrum would reach into his pack and pull out a small hammer, a blacksmith's hammer, essentially, and go to work breaking apart some of the wooden furniture, assembling it into a neat little pile, and setting it aflame with the tinderbox.
Okay, and you can do so. And you that heat and warmth begins to come. Jeremy breaks down like the table and kind of whacks some boards across what was already broken and kind of reinforces it. And you said you guys wanted to kind of like bed down for the night. Who's going to take the first watch and who is going to rest?
Well, I suppose I can take the first half of the night, being an elf.
Okay.
I can watch over my sleeping children.
Okay. So Jason, Jeremy, and Josh, all you guys are Jays. So Jason, Jeremy, and Josh, you guys all kind of like hunker down for the night. And what were we going to say, Josh?
Petrum would stay awake for a couple hours more, being that he kind of just woke up from some sort of sleep. He's not quite tired yet, but he stays up.
Okay. I need Jason and Jeremy to give me a wisdom roll with disadvantage, please. A wisdom save. And either tell me or put it in chat, please.
I got an 8.
Okay, both of you, as you fall asleep, you feel that right before you feel that kind of tired exhaustion that that Petra was feeling earlier. And as both of you fall asleep, although you were there, you experience the same thing that the gnome did. You kind of have this out of body type of experience where you see just grays and blacks, and kind of everything is kind of in grayscale as you're looking down upon yourself. Josh, I need you to give me a wisdom save, please, with disadvantage, because as I said, you're going to be
3.
okay. You fall asleep too. And finally, Joseph, same thing, because when your time is over, you would need to rest somehow. So I need you to roll, but not with disadvantage.
Wisdom?
Yes.
$25.
You're good. So the other three of you, although you are resting, you see each other, and you, Josh, you recognize this same kind of humanoid glowing white figures are something that you saw before, twice, as a matter of fact. The girl's parents, as well as what you saw in the street. And now you know that these are your companions because you can see them standing over their physical forms. And you guys can talk to each other. You can interact with your environment.
The first thing Petrum would say is, not this again.
And what would the dwarves be saying, feeling, thinking?
This is the oddest thing I have ever been through. We're clearly not dead, are we?
No. We're asleep again.
What about you, Jason? I see you're unmuted, but we don't hear you. Can anyone else hear him, or is it just me?
No, I can't hear him. You may need to reconnect.
Yeah, I had that same issue. Just reconnect.
Yeah. Jason, why don't you reconnect then, buddy? Okay. Hangout sucks tonight. Kind of get into a rhythm of something, and then we got to stop. Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't happen in my game on Sunday morning, but we'll see. Got to use Reaper in that game. That always causes technical issues. But it's a really cool effect, though.
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you now.
So we're still in the dream state, yeah?
Yes.
So looking confused and thrashing my head around, looking at what's happening around me and the way the world is in this weird grayscale. What manner of evil is this?
And Josh, would you respond?
It's the same damn affliction I was under earlier. We're sleeping again.
And all of you, you can't necessarily see through the physical objects, but you can see outside of the door, kind of through the planks, you can see a white kind of glow. It's not right up against the door, but you can see through the planks that there's something out there.
Are we able to walk around in this state?
Yeah, you have
Okay.
access to everything that you had. It's just in this weird kind of ethereal plane.
Okay, then I'd probably walk towards the door.
Okay. You walk towards the door. Now what?
Are the others following me, or am I standing there by myself?
Gentlemen?
Knowing that we can you see this energy kind of through the walls of the building, Petrum would know that hiding does him no good here, and he he kind of backs up his companion.
Okay. And Jason, would you go with him? Okay. So let's just say, for example, for now that Jason is just kind of figuring out his movement in this dream state. He's still floating. So he'll be out of commission for a little while. But Jeremy, as you get up to the door, is that this energy, you can almost feel it as you get closer. Like you can actually, it's almost like an electrical kind of vibe. But as you get closer to the door, it gets stronger. And something almost seems to be pulling you towards it.
This energy does it feel menacing, or is it any type of painful?
No, it feels like you're drawn to it. Like something inside of you makes you feel like you need to be outside.
I think instinctually I would raise the shield a little bit, not completely sure it's going to protect me, but I would do it out of instinct, and I would peer through any gaps that might have been missed by my covering the door to see if I can get a clearer image of what it actually is that's near the door.
It's the only thing you can really make out is that it is a large humanoid form. It's in that white kind of, there's no, just like on yourself, there's no distinguishing features. It's just kind of this white energy.
Your window?
Not out this side by the door, no. Okay. So yeah, that's what you see, Jeremy. What do you want to do? Or Josh or Jason? Just standing in the room.
Has it been approaching at all, or is it just standing in front of the door?
It's standing probably 4 feet back, kind of in the middle of this road, but facing the door, not doing anything.
All right, I would probably crack the door to see if I can get a. I know probably what I'm going to see is a big white blob, but
Yep.
I'd rather see it than not.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's a humanoid form, out in the middle of the street, looking towards this house. That's all that you notice with your eyes.
Child, is that you, Sarah? Is that you in the street?
And he turns and he looks at you and he says, "No, I am not whom you seek. I am but a victim of that evil child. Just as you too shall be." What would you say to that, Jason?
I have no bloody idea. I'm sorry.
Perfectly valid. Jeremy, you and Josh would have both heard this too. So what would you say?
I would get closer to that gap that shows the person that spoke, and I would look out. Do you know what exactly is going on here?
We are her prisoners. She has some control over all of us. Our spirits, our life force is trapped in this place.
At this point, I would have pushed the door, completely open rather than having it just partially open to get a glimpse. And I would walk out slowly, towards the figure, kind of my hand crossed over on the hilt of a dagger. Not going too quickly to startle whoever this may be. So you too, then. You're asleep as well.
I was asleep. And it almost seems like he clears his throat. He's like, I'm not asleep anymore.
What do you mean? Are you dead? Did she take your life?
No, she didn't take my life. She took my spirit. My body didn't last long after that. But to look at me, and he motions towards the house across the street. And he says, "Come, I'll show you." And as you're talking, his voice changes. It becomes more pleasant the more that he speaks with you. It was very low and guttural at first, but as he continues to speak, it gets nicer and more pleasant to hear. And he just kind of beckons you, and you see him actually walk through the front door of that house. Would you guys follow?
Yeah, I think I will. Yeah, I'll follow. I'll actually attempt to walk through the door as well. I'll do it like I won't just walk straight into the door. I'll try and put my hand through and try and walk through the door the same way he did.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you would do. You kind of put your hand in and then out, and then and then eventually you walk through, just go through, and sitting in a chair, you see the remains of a man. It's kind of like a mummified kind of body, just dry skin and everything. And he stands by the chair. He said, "This is what happened to me. I didn't have anyone to take care of me. Now I'm stuck here, like so many others."
Arfin will he'll have a frown and a concerned look. "Fear not, good fellow, for no soul deserves to live in a place like this. If it's within my power, we will free you from the bonds from which hold you."
The only way to do that is to destroy that child. Many of us have tried. None of us have been successful, obviously. She has a way, and she calls it her friend. That devil just is worse than she is. It whispers things to her. It twists her mind. She won't listen. She does whatever that disgusting creature says.
I'll have yet to meet a creature that could stand up to the bite of a good piece of battle axe. Fear not. If I can, I will.
As you've just arrived, you're optimistic. That's cute. If you really seek her, you will end up like I am. But if you'd like to try, make your way to that church. You'll find her inside. Understand that if she takes you, you will remain here forever. You will be as we are, nothing. Again, I would leave if I were you and take that little girl with you. There's no one left except her and her parents. They need to go. They need to be safe. They're good people. We were not.
The girl won't leave without her parents. Her parents are on this side as well. I have to free them.
But they won't leave their house. They haven't been out staying with their daughter, protecting her. There are things that can get into that house. And every night, those parents fight them off and lose a little bit of themselves. They're not going to last much longer.
Are all the people that we've interacted with so far essentially commoners of the town, like common folk?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I guess Petrum would have sensed that, knowing or seeing the girl. She's kind of in ratty condition, I guess you would say.
Mhm.
And he would never let a commoner, just go unprotected. And so he thinks in his mind that maybe it's best that they seek out Sarah in the church in order to relate to my companions that she has this whole town under siege. We must stop her.
And Jeremy, what would you say to that?
I hardly think that this thing is a child.
Good friends, I think this creature that whispers poison in this child's ear is the issue, not the child itself.
And with that, Joseph, your holy symbol begins to glow. And it begins to glow in a way that you haven't ever seen it glow before. It glows bright and it bathes the room and the area that you're in this kind of golden sort of sunlight. And you see with this door open, you actually see the outlines of these creatures, of these spirits. You can't really make it out, but you know something's there. Something is not right. And for some reason, this light that's being emitted from your holy symbol is showing you something that your deity wants you to know.
I look around. Can you describe these creatures or shadows of creatures?
It's more like, imagine like a golden outline of your companions, like they're being rained on by like golden rain. So you can make out their features, and that these look like your friends, but you can't see all of them. It's just the part that's being bathed in light, if that makes sense.
So would I be able to kind of venture and guess that I'm seeing maybe what's going on with him as they're sleeping, perhaps?
Yes, you've been around long enough as an elf. You are kind of a devout person. You believe in spirits and blessings and things like that. The soul. So this would be something that probably wouldn't surprise you too much. But of course you wouldn't know why, but you would probably not be too startled, just kind of be intrigued by it.
Well, Thander, I really wish I could understand your wisdom a bit better. And as she says that, she kind of gently tries to touch the weird silhouettes, seeing if they can react in any way.
And your hand goes through them, as if they're like a hologram. And when you do this, Emma comes down and she says to you, if you want to see them, just go to sleep. That's the only way that you can talk to them.
I don't remember the last time I ever went to sleep. It's been quite a while. Elves don't normally sleep.
If you let yourself, you will sleep here. Everyone does.
And she kind of looks to her allies' outlines. Are they moving around doing stuff, or are they standing still?
Yeah. You know, you saw them. This all kind of happened at the same time. You saw them walk out of this room and across the street and into the other place. You can't hear them, but you do know kind of what's going on. You kind of see that they're moving.
Right. And I guess Jasmine will try to sleep.
Okay. And I'm just going to say that we auto fail that check. And just like the others, you appear in that kind of, grayscale world. And I'm sure your friends will fill you in. So what would you guys tell him as he saw you and you guys saw him?
The first thing that would come to Petrum's mind as Jasmine's silhouette kind of floated or walked over to where we were standing is, since when do elves sleep?
Sometimes children do when they haven't quite mastered their trance. The child, Emma, suggested I join you. It's a little uncomfortable trying to sleep, so I'm a little bit out of sorts.
We've learned much in the church. Sarah waits with some sort of presence. They've got this whole town under the spell. Those who do not have anyone to take care of them just wither away and die, like this man here. And I point to the corpse in the chair.
All right, so do we have a plan of action? Are we going to approach them? I don't understand.
That's completely up to you guys. How would you like to do it? How would you like to head there? What is your plan? Don't everybody talk at once now.
I'm getting the distinct impression, fellow travelers, that time is of the essence. I think, why not go there now? They can, as it says in the scripture, only a fool fights in a burning barn. And I think that staying in the house, protecting one girl when we can save an entire town would be the better of the moves for us.
If we vanquish this demon, Emma will have her parents back. They can leave this town. I think we should go.
And to the church we go.
And you all leave your bodies laying there. And you, again, this everything is the same except for this kind of grayscale look. You kind of hear like it's very windy just through your ears, like a the whole time as you're going through. But you do hear other noises. You do hear screams. You do hear, but not like pain screams, just fear. You hear kind of muttering off in the distances. You see dozens of these, white energy kind of silhouettes of different people. What you know these to be people, probably 3 or 4 dozen as you pass. They all kind of look at you as you go, like you're a spectacle. you see them kind of part as you get towards the front of the church. And you could almost see one of them as you walk past just nod. And you walk up these kind of stone, simple steps. It's a very small church, probably. The whole building's probably 40 feet long, 20 feet wide. There's a large oak and iron riveted door on there, your typical, church door. And from inside, you hear another voice, again, another small girl going, "Please, come in." And that door just inviting you to walk inside. What would you like to do?
Do we have a clear view inside now that the door's open?
Yes, you see 4 pews on each side. You see a large altar with 2 burning candles on each side, and a young girl, probably 10 years old, with long brown hair, sitting there in a white dress, just dangling her feet off the altar. And you could hear the sound of giggling in the background, not just hers, but the sounds of children laughing and playing.
Are you Sarah?
Yes. Sarah is what they used to call me. Who are you?
I am Harfing Fjall, and I cast you out in the name of whatever god I'm observing today.
She puts her hands down on the altar and kind of hops off. And if you could imagine the most condescending little girl laugh you can imagine, that's what you hear. Just kind of and just almost to the point where she's laying it on thick, just really trying to be condescending. Oh, okay. Maybe you should try that again. Who are you?
Okay, I'll start stepping forward and taking my axe in a ready posture, and I am the person who's going to liberate your soul from your body.
And will you be going towards her with your axe lifted?
Yes.
Give me a wisdom save, please. You start moving forward a little bit quicker, and you kind of raise your axe. And when you're about 20 feet away, you are stuck. You don't fall or anything, but you cannot move any further. Your entire body is frozen where it is. And it's obviously some type of magic, but you don't feel or see anything touching you. You are just stuck like that. And you hear this voice go, "So quick to fight. Don't you realize you don't have a chance? Can't we just be friends? There's no need for violence."
Can I roll an Arcana check? See if I can figure out what's holding him in place.
Sure.
Oh boy, it's the curse of the dead. It's 2.
You have no idea. You know something happened, and he ain't moving. But what would the rest of you like to do or say, or Jeremy or Joseph?
I find it strange that you ask. us to play nice when the majority of this town is either dead or under your spell.
My spell? This town isn't under my spell.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna get into semantics here, your spell, my friend's spell, my boss's spell. I mean, surely you know what's going on here. Or are you going to feign ignorance to us?
Yes, I know what's going on here. My friend keeps me awake. That's what's happening here. So that nothing bad happens to me. And here you come in and you try to fight and be violent. I've done nothing to you. My friend has done nothing to you. And she motions off to her left, and kind of out of the corner of your eyes, you guys see this form. This creature, again, it's black and gray, but it's kind of a dark-skinned, spiny, like spikes all over its body, really elongated arms and legs. Like the forearms are twice as long as they should be. It has a barbed tail. Excuse me. It has very long ears. It's very, very long claws and kind of toenails, and it just kind of slinks towards. It's like, yes, Jason, you are. Think like lizard meets humanoid, but with a whole lot of spikes on it. It's probably 8.5 or 9 feet tall. It is easily 3 times the size of this child, and it comes next to her, and you see it whispering in her ear, and you just hear her say, I know. But yes, Jason, you can talk. What would you guys say or do seeing this?
Again, I'm frozen. Brothers, to my side. Protect me.
So why is our friend frozen? Did you put him under a spell?
I didn't.
Well,
And
when I say I, you know what I'm referring to, please.
my friend has ways of protecting me. Your companion was trying to attack. I couldn't let that happen.
Well, what if we promise not to hurt you? How about that?
The creature bends down and whispers in her ear, and she nods and she says, no, I think he'll stay there. I don't believe you. Do the other 3 of you wish to talk, or do you wish to fight? If you wish to fight, I promise you will not win. If you wish to talk, maybe you can learn something.
Petrum would approach, not quite as far as oh man, what's his name? I just wrote it down. Harfin, as to be careful not to get stuck in the same, excuse the pun, in the same predicament. But he would kind of walk forward with his hands held out and attempt to persuade her. Please, child, we mean you no harm. Oh my God, we did it. That's a 21. I'm sorry, 22.
Then with that, she believes you. And she kind of, not beckons, but kind of tells her spiny little friend to take a few steps back. He stays close, though, within striking distance as you walk forward. She said, you, I believe. Now what do you want to know?
What is this realm that we're in? Are we merely dreaming?
It is a place between reality and our dreams. It's a place that is the only safe place we could be. Only safe place I could be. Everyone thought I was evil. Everyone thought I was bad. I had to stay here. And the only person here was him. And he protects me. And he made sure that nothing bad happened to me.
You do know that whatever that thing is has been sucking the life out of this entire town.
No, that's not him. He just likes the dogs. Jeremy or Joseph, would you guys ask her any questions or talk to her at all?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like this line of questioning is not going anywhere.
Then change it up or do something else.
I don't know.
Child, can you not see that creature whispers poisons? Every word is corrupting your thought process. Look around you at your town. Look around.
The creature snarls at you, and you can even see him shake his head no. And he takes a few steps towards you in a very threatening manner.
I freeze.
Well, you're already frozen.
It's being funny.
All right. Would the three other of you respond to this creature kind of taking some aggressive stance towards your friend?
I would look ready to fight, but not explicitly attacking it. I would just ready a shield and kind of look at it defensively.
Okay. And what about you, Josh?
Yeah, Petrum he had his hands out kind of like in a non-threatening hold-on manner. And as the creature stepped forward and he was stepping forward as well, you placed one hand on the grip of his bow or his crossbow. We don't want to fight.
Yeah. That's what they said too. And then they tried to kill me. And he's the only thing that saved me. You sound just like they did. And I don't think we like you anymore. And she looks over at this creature, and she just nods. And you hear this kind of, and he takes a step in front of all of you and roll for initiative.
I must have pulled a better 20 out of my bag.
I need Jeremy and Jason, please.
8.
Okay. And Jason? Okay. So Josh, you go first. You're probably 5 feet away from this thing right now.
You said there were sort of pews off to the side?
Yep, there's four pews on each side. This is right in the center, though, where you guys are right now.
Okay. I would take a cunning action to hide behind one of the pews.
Okay.
Would you like me to roll like an acrobatics, sir?
No, it's fine. If you're going to do that as your action, you're fine.
It's actually, I think it's a bonus action under cunning action.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a bonus. And so I would kind of duck out and go up.
Yeah, so give me a stealth check then.
Sure. That's a 20.
Nat?
No, that's technical.
Okay. Then you're good.
Okay, and so kind of ducking behind the pews, I guess you would know. Or who was the creature sat on? The guy in the front with the axe?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, well, kind of ducking off to the side with the pew, he'd pull his bow or his crossbow up, over and aim one down real quick, steady, and he would fire off a bolt at the monster stalking towards him.
Roll a hit.
My God, why was everything so good until then? That was a 6.
Yeah, that's not going to make it.
I imagine.
So this thing just past him, and he does turn his attention towards you. Next is Joseph.
As of right now, only the creature is being like super aggressive, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Again, as before, you'd see Jasmine kind of muttering under her breath, and as before, you'd see 3 burning gauntlets kind of reach out, and one would touch the shoulders of each of her allies, and she would just say, "I think Lathander can watch over you 3 this time," and she'll bless everyone except for herself.
Okay.
With a plus D4, and she would kind of ready her short sword, kind of preparing to get charged, even though she's kind of a little bit farther back than her allies.
Okay. Jason.
I'll be steadfast in my frozenness.
Give me a wisdom save.
You do get a D4 bonus from Bless.
Yep.
Okay, hang on. I think I did it this time. 17.
Yep. It was a DC 13, so you have willed yourself out of this frozen state.
Okay. Am I within striking distance of the creature, or do I need to advance on it?
You're probably within 10 feet, so you're good.
Then I will advance and attack.
Go for it. Roll a hit.
Do I still have the D4 for the blessing? For the hit? 2 hit?
Yes.
$16.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Nice. 10 points of damage. So I'll step forward and after becoming amazingly unfrozen, step forward and bring my axe whistling through the air down on the creature's midriff. A glancing blow slides off of its ribs, opening minor cuts for 10 points of damage.
Okay. And with that damage, he's actually going to go towards you, and he's going to make 2 attacks on you. The first one is going to miss. The second one is going to miss. So he just takes his claws and just, and both of them just miss you. The first one misses you by a mile. The second one's very, very close, but just kind of scathes off your armor. Next, we're going to Jeremy.
How far is that creature from me?
He's about 10 feet from everybody.
Okay. Seeing him miss his 2 attacks, I would come in quickly with the spear and the shield right next to it, side by side, kind of blocking, and then the spear sticking out, and try and impale it in its side.
Okay. Roll to hit. Jeremy.
And that would be an 9.
Okay, that does not hit. You get closer to him. You get closer to him, but the spear just doesn't find purchase in him. Josh, back up to you.
So he has turned his attention now to Harfin.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And as he kind of witnesses the opening of a couple of wounds through the battle axe of Harfin, you kind of perch down behind the pews as he pulls back his crossbow, loads another bolt inside of it. He lines up another shot, takes a shot.
Okay.
It's an 8.
This should just be a foregone. I should just skip you from this point on.
I'm just going to throw the crossbow down.
Yeah. Joseph, as you keep seeing this gnome with a crossbow not hit a thing, what would you like to do?
I don't know if Lathander has enough blessings for the likes of you, but perhaps I have my own solution here. And you would kind of see her look at this weird creature. How big is this creature, by the way?
About 8.5 or 9 feet tall. This thing is huge.
Oh, for some reason in my brain it was like cat-sized. Yeah, you kind of see her point a finger at that creature, and you kind of see almost like ice forming on her arm, as if all the heat in her body is focused on her finger. She kind of points it, aiming right at the center of mass, and then you just see 3 bursts of light burn out of it as she casts Scorching Ray on the creature, attempting to burn it to dust.
Okay.
That's all right. So I'll roll for each ray.
Okay.
19, 7, and 11.
So the 19 hits.
Yeah. But you see 2 rays just kind of veer off wildly, but the third one hits the creature for a very, very impressive 6 damage.
Okay. And where does it hit? Where does it hit? Where does it hit?
Right in the chest.
Okay.
Fire damage.
Okay. Jason, your turn.
Again, I will press the attack. 16. Oh, sorry, no. 21.
Both hit?
Yeah,
Well,
sorry?
I'm sorry. I thought you said you had 2 attacks. No, that hits.
Okay.
Even the 16 hits.
9.9 damage. Okay, so I'll skillfully step to the right side of the creature as the bolt whistles over my shoulder and sinks into its chest. I'll thrust the point at the end of the battle axe forward and aiming for the creature's thigh, driving the point through the muscle at the thigh and catching a purchase near the kneecap, prizing the kneecap away, stepping back, quite happy with an effective attack.
Okay. And you said it was 11 damage?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, so you hit it. It's just kind of, and you just hear this thing grunt just as you get it. And with that, he is going to open his mouth, and you're going to, and it's going to be kind of focused on everyone except for the gnome. And he's going to open his mouth, and you're going to hear these words that you've heard. They almost sound like mutterings, but you're going to see this bright light begin to form. And out of this thing's mouth, in a 15-foot cone, he's actually going to shoot flame straight out in a 15-foot cone. I need the 3 of you to give me a dexterity check, please. Or excuse me, a dexterity save. Everybody except the gnome.
Please remember you're blessed.
Oh, don't worry, I got something better in store for the gnome. If you guys could put it in chat or tell me, please, when you get it.
Got a 9.
Okay. And Joseph, I just need yours. Oh, 13? Is that what you got?
Yeah.
Okay. So Joseph and Jeremy, you guys actually fail that save. And you guys are going to take 12 fire damage as you get hit with this flame just coming out of this thing's mouth. It's almost like a viscous fluid, but it like sticks to you and actually begins to burn. Jason, you are going to take half that, which is 6 fire damage. And next we're back to Jeremy. You're coated in fire and burning.
And I lose concentration on my bless.
Okay. Jeremy, you're muted.
Yeah, I was. I imagine the sight of that flame, he would have raised his shield to protect himself, but just seconds late, so it actually hit the corner and kind of splashed on top of him. So there's the straight blast plus the flames falling on top of him. To that, he would probably just get irritated and not happy, not good day. He would just slam his shield straight down and attempt to kind of crush, not flint shielded, but the point that it comes to, and try and attack like that when using the shield.
Okay. Roll to hit.
No.
Okay. So you just miss. You're so caught on fire, and your mind is somewhere else. So it just doesn't find a spot there. Okay. We are going all the way back up to Josh again. If you could mute Jeremy. Okay. I'm hearing static still. Weird.
I would like to. How far has the creature passed me? Like, as far as where I'm standing? Walk past me?
No, I mean he's still. If you're looking straight ahead, he's probably at your 10 o'clock, about 20 feet away.
Okay. Kind of frustrated with the crossbow. You would see Petrum just throw it to the ground as he moves forward. Moves forward to join his companions on the front line. After seeing all this fire kind of breathed out, he's like, "Fire, huh? I guess it's time to fight fire with fire." As he murmurs, "Roll!" And he puts up his hands in kind of like a solar flare, Dragon Ball Z style. As he holds it up, casting burning hands towards the demon.
Okay. So amongst the kind of aftermath of this demon, spitting out fire, the pews on the right side have actually begun to burn. Everything that was on there and your fire only adds to this. And what happens when you cast this? You hit him point blank in the chest, and he stands there. And as the flames kind of die down and kind of the smoke and everything clears, you look up, and the creature just kind of looks at you and smiles. It absolutely has no effect.
He
Joseph.
would kind of just stand there dumbfounded as he just
yeah. Joseph, your turn.
Okay, so this creature looks like it's immune to fire, apparently. All right, well, that kind of limits my options. And you would just see Jasmine just rush up there with a short sword and just take a swipe out at this creature.
Okay.
A very powerful short sword of destiny. 16 to hit.
Yes.
And you can see this short sword cut into the shoulder of this creature, digging pretty deep as it does 9 damage.
Okay.
And as this happens, she kind of looks down. She says, "Is that the best you can do? I'm surprised you could beat anybody." And as she says this, you kind of see her getting hyped up as she casts Healing Word on herself.
Okay.
Four. My rolls are just... Ugh.
Not as bad as Josh's.
Yeah, I suppose.
I think he's missed 10 times tonight.
Yeah, and I swapped out my D20 probably 8 times.
You realize you get modifiers in D&D, right?
Yeah, that's the bad part. That's the horrible part.
I went through all the mods and saves with everybody in a chat and in a hangout, so everyone should be using the right ones. Jason, it's your turn.
Well, I shall press the attack again.
Good.
Coughing and sputtering from my singed beard. I'll raise my axe and attempt to attack. Okay. 8.
Does not hit.
So I will step in and swing, and the creature skillfully steps aside, and I catch nothing but air.
Okay. Creature is going to do two attacks. Joseph, what is your AC?
My armor class is currently, with my shield outs, 17.
Okay.
Is it attacking me just the one time?
No, it's actually going to get you both with both claws. One was a 21, the other one was a 19.
Right. Well, I'm going to use my reaction to do
Okay.
Warding Flare. He has disadvantage as you see blinding light kind of shoot out of her holy symbol on the creature's face.
Now, can you do that on both attacks or just one?
No, just one. That's why I asked how many.
Okay. Well, it is going to hit you once on that second one.
Okay.
And you're going to take 7 slashing damage as the claws I imagine it just kind of goes through your armor on the left side, just kind of scratching down in for 7 slashing damage.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that hurts. Pretty badly injured from that strike, but she's still standing.
Okay.
That deal sounds a little bit better right now, but I'll stick with our current plan.
Okay. And Jeremy. Jeremy, it's your turn.
All right. I would take a step back, kind of take my mask, pull it to my top of my head. I'm guessing all the dried blood and previous ick was blocking part of my view. And I would look around. Do I see any type of like basin of holy water or vials of it, anything like that?
Give me a perception check.
That would be 19.
When you first came in, there is a kind of a, if you've ever been to like a Catholic church, like attached to the wall, there's a little basin that you thought you saw the reflection of some water in.
And how far away from me is it?
30 feet? 25 feet?
Okay. I would run towards that, and as I'm running, pull out some rags from my pack and throw those into it, soaking up as much of the water as I can.
Okay. I would think that would be your action there. We're back around to Josh. You are full up on soaked rags, by the way, Jeremy.
I would like to take a hide action to kind of duck out of the creature's line of sight. Probably behind him if I could maneuver. Maybe even between his legs because I'm so small.
Okay.
And that would be a stealth roll.
He's not focusing on you, so yeah, you should be good. Good.
Okay. Say 17.
That hits. Or sorry, you're good. Sorry.
But yeah, with that kind of roll through the legs, he would unsheath a dagger from his belt and kind of holding it this way would kind of just jab it into probably like the lower back area of the creature. Well, if that hits, of course. And that is a 18.
That hits.
Sweet. Let's see. And 7 damage.
Okay. And Joseph.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. I forgot to roll my sneak attack damage. 7, 12.
Okay.
Yeah. How badly injured does this creature look?
It's definitely bleeding. It's kind of oozing this kind of green liquid out. It's gotten pierced on his shoulder and his leg. It looks like it's hurt, but it doesn't look like it's on death's door or anything.
All right. You'll see Jasmine will kind of limp around behind the creature and just kind of separating herself from her allies. She kind of pulls back the blade and tries to cut into it one more time. Please die. I'm not feeling too good anymore, so Let's get this over with. 17 to hit.
That hits.
So you're kind of pull back, and again 9 damage. She just stabs the creature square in the lower back.
Okay.
Kind of just cutting out a gout of blood from the creature.
As this happens, as your sword finds purchase in here, and it kind of lets out another groan, you hear that door that had closed behind you swing open, just, and standing there is little Emma with her blonde hair, and she says, "Thank you. Now finish it." And she looks to Jason and to the dwarves. You said that you would protect me. You said you would. Now go do it. Destroy that thing. Destroy that creature. Jason, you're up.
I shall press the attack. 11.
Does not hit.
Okay, I will skillfully swing where the creature was standing, and as my blade comes down, the creature moves its foot, and I swing clearly through the air, and the axe rings off the flagstones.
Okay. Now you see this thing focusing on this little girl, and you see it kind of lift its tail and shoot 2 barbs out of its tail, hurtling towards Emma. And both of them actually land in this little girl's chest, right here. And she falls to one knee, and you kind of hear her just kind of whimpering. And you see this little child take the barbs and pull them out. And you can see where she was bleeding, that blood around her shirt start to go back in to the wound, and those wounds close up. And she looks to you, Jeremy, and she says, "Destroy it. Destroy it now."
Seeing the blood go back into the wounds and seeing how she entered after saying that she couldn't leave because staying would protect her, he's a little, not necessarily confused, but a little more cautious than he probably has been. And he's kind of second thinking about the little girl in question. He's going to take one of the smaller rags and toss it to her, so maybe it lands in front of her or she catches it, and he'll say, "Oh, that thing breathes fire. Protect yourself." And he'll take the rest of the rags and run back into a fighting position with the others, kind of seeing what her reaction to that holy water will be.
Are you trying to throw it at her, or are you trying to throw it in front of her?
Kind of like how you would toss a softball, so it's in front of her, but if she doesn't catch it, it'll like hit her like in the legs or at the feet, something like that.
Yeah, she doesn't go to catch it. But now, if you're only about 25 feet from this creature, so you can do that and then go and fight the creature. But she doesn't do anything to it. She doesn't even take her eyes off of this creature. It just kind of sits on her foot, and nothing happens. I mean, she's wearing shoes, and pants. It just sits there. And she looks at you and she says, "Destroy it." Jeremy, would you do anything or no?
I would, seeing that nothing exactly happened, was there any kind of reaction in her eyes, or did she seem concerned that it might touch her?
No, nothing at all. Nothing that you noticed.
I would tie one of the ends of the rag to the spear and go to impale the creature. So when the spear pierced the flesh, some of that liquid would go inside of it.
Okay, roll to hit.
Uh, Probably doesn't hit. I got a 6.
No, that does not hit.
I'm still
And
thinking about how she could possibly be a person of interest.
okay, Josh.
Would you say that I'm still adequately hidden from the creature? I'm still on its backside. He's not
Yeah.
focused on me.
Nope,
Okay.
he's focused in on that little girl.
Okay. Well, my dagger, probably he would have a hard time pulling it out. You just kind of get it back, and two-handed would just go for another jab in its back. And it's a 17.
Hits.
Wonderful. 9 damage.
Okay, is that with your sneak?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Joseph.
All right. Again, you just see her kind of wheel back, glad that the creature did not slash into her again, being distracted by the child. Just again, just tries to hack into this creature. Guys, we have to end this thing quickly. I'm almost out of magic. And it'll be 24 to hit.
That hits.
Again, you just see this blade just kind of jab into the back of this creature, spilling out just disgusting goo as she does 8 more damage.
Okay. And this thing falls down to one knee. This thing is definitely hurt. And there we go. And you hear the little girl, the little girl Emma, just yes, almost there. Destroy it. Jason, you're up. Yes, Bless ended like 8 rounds ago.
Okay, thank you. I'll press the attack. 19. I think that's a critical, yeah?
If you win champion, yes.
No.
Then it's not.
No. Okay. It's a hit anyways.
Yep.
So 9 points of damage.
Okay.
So the thing comes down on its knee. Harfin steps in and with a skillfully aimed shot, swings the axe down onto the shoulder of the creature, and the blade drives between the clavicle and the shoulder blade with a sickening thud, and he draws the axe out, giving, 9 points of damage.
So now this thing is, I mean, it's pouring out this just kind of green blood, and as it's on one knee, but it even goes to one side and puts its hand out. Suddenly, you guys see a flash, just a very quick light, and you see Emma standing in front of this creature, and you see her with a smile on her face. You see this little child put her hand on this thing's face, and her hand traces down. Could you mute yourself, Joseph?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Thanks. And her hand traces down to the chest. And when she gets to the center of the chest, you see her push in and pull out this thing's green beating heart as this creature just falls over dead. And she holds it and she shows all of you. And she says, "Thank you." And she drops it, walks over to that altar where Sarah is sitting, well, standing now. And she says, "Hello, sister." And Sarah responds just with a look of complete fear. And you see light begin to emit from Sarah's body. You see her clothes and her skin and her hair begin to almost like flake away until all that you see, instead of this gray and black figure, but this white kind of spirit that you're so familiar with seeing. And you see her sister reach out her hand, Emma reach out her hand, and this energy and this light begins to start to trail into her hand until there is no light left from Sarah. And Emma takes it and she holds it to her chest. And she says, "Now we can be a family again. Let me take you home." And she looks at all of you and she nods and smiles, but not a nice smile, more of a sinister. And after a moment, all of you fade to black. And seemingly an instant later, you wake up with your physical forms, sitting in the bottom level of that house in silence. And if you search the house, you'll find that Emma is gone. Her parents are gone. And this town remains empty. And that's where we'll end.
Did we die? It just seems not right. So surreal.
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, I know. This is choose your own ending.
Yeah.
Okay, saw that coming though. At the end, anyway.
Well, yeah. Well, it went when she came back. There was a lot of little things that we could have done with that, but we were at 3.5 hours, and that needed to end. So, but no, I thought you guys did good though. I thought you guys did good, especially Jason and Jeremy. You guys, you're brand new to this stuff. Obviously Josh and Joseph have more experience. But I thought you guys did good. It was, you got a little bit more comfortable with the descriptions towards the end. But yeah, like I said, overall, one shots there's not a lot of falling action. One shots just kind of you get to the end and that's it. But hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Even if at parts they were a little bit long and a little bit difficult to figure out what you were supposed to do.
A little bit sleepy, a little tired.
Yeah, well, it is 11:30, so. But
no, I'm talking about Petrum for like the first 35 minutes of the game.
Well, you failed the check.
Yeah, I know.
You failed the wisdom throw. So
I failed a lot of throws that game.
So yeah, guys, again, this is going to be the first of a couple. I'm going to have to get better at my one shots because I don't do a lot of them. We are going to be doing a bunch of these call to adventure games to get some new people out there and involved and into some online games. But I do want everybody, if you don't mind, to just kind of introduce yourself and how long you've been playing, or if this is your first game or whatever. If you don't mind. So Josh, why don't we start with you?
Okay. My name is Josh. I've probably been playing D&D as a player for 3 years, and I just recently started my own homebrew world. I've been DMing for 3 months. I started with a homebrew game, completely homebrew world, and 7 PCs. because I love my friends and I can't say no. But it's been a real ride and a lot of fun. But yeah, today I played Petrum Wildred. He was a rogue, and oh yeah, do you mind if I plug the little channel that I just made?
No, dude, go.
Yeah,
Say whatever you want.
I made a YouTube channel, mostly going to be focusing on streaming, live stream world building. I'm going to start completely from scratch world, and hopefully people in the chat will help me build it, come up with some cool ideas. Right now the channel is called Roll the Bones. There's nothing on it yet, but I'll post a link in the chat for anybody who wants to go and check it out, maybe subscribe. Probably within the next couple of days I'll have the first live stream up. And
Sure.
I'll probably post it over to the, I guess, I don't know if AbTab does that kind of thing.
Yeah, of course, dude. Whatever if you put a video up, post it in AppTab, the RPG one shot group, RPG Brigade, post them all, man. We all do.
Cool. Yeah, I'll go ahead and post those links out there, and probably within the next couple of days I'll have my first stream for everybody to come and see.
All right, awesome. And Joseph.
I've been playing off and on for like 15 years. Probably honestly, maybe closer to 10 years playing with the spotty parts in between there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been posting up some games on AbTab and OSG. I've recently finished a 15-ish episode, maybe 10, I don't know. Little mini campaign with some guys playing as town guards in a screwed up city where they found out their bosses were not the nicest of people. But honestly, I'm not doing too much right now. I'm gonna post a kind of a death themed Fire Emblem one shot in the near future, where players are trying to revive the dead, and will probably end up dead themselves unless they're pretty tough go-getters. I posted it up on both places. But yeah, that's about it, guys.
Cool. Well, again, Josh and Joseph, you guys were the experienced guys, so thank you for helping out tonight. Helping Jeremy and Jason kind of have their first experiences. So, Jeremy, you're next.
Right. My name obviously is Jeremy. I was playing a Dwarven champion fighter. His name was Monkey, obviously. And this being my first role-playing experience online or in general, when I was a teenager, I dabbled in something called, actually I don't remember what it was called, but it was a Western motif that involved some steampunk and things like that, and I only got about 3 sessions into that before it was no more the person running it stopped. But as far as YouTube, I've been pretty much all my inspiration and research that I can from watching Jake's old games, the core of Absolute Tabletop, Mac Lake and everybody. And it's been helpful. Getting ideas for character, getting ideas for how the whole format goes. And I do plan on playing some games in the near future. So hopefully my rolling will get better.
Well, hopefully we can get your computer up and working so you don't have to play on your phone.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But yeah, mate, you'll find that, as I was telling you earlier, every DM kind of has their style, and it changes a lot based on the people that are there. So, the more you play, the more experience you get. And sometimes you have games where it's just amazing and it just, you knock it out of the park. And other times you're like, that was okay. But the more you get out there, the more comfortable you'll get, and the more kind of used to it. And you'll start to stop worrying about what to do and just do it. And it tends to be a lot more enjoyable once you get to that point. So thank you very much for Jeremy for being brave and for giving it the shot. So I appreciate that. Jason.
I'm Jay. I used to play Dungeons and Dragons in '83. Got away from it when the kids came along. And then I just discovered this whole online thing. I tried the virtual tabletop thing, didn't like it. That's not to say there's anything wrong with it, just something that wasn't for me. And this was my first bash at the cat here, and I had a great time.
Cool, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I really appreciate, again, you being brave too. Like I said, yeah, haven't done it. For everybody who knows me, doesn't know me, I'm Drake. I run the YouTube channel, the RPG Construct, live plays, advice. I'm half of a podcast called Something RPG-ish with Jake Norman, where we do a bunch of tips and tricks. And for new people, for seasoned people, it's just two guys getting together talking about our RPGs. But it's a lot of fun, and we enjoy it. I stopped playing when I was 16 when AD&D came out, version 2nd edition, until I saw the Provokers about 2.5 years ago. And when 5th edition came out, I was pretty experienced. I played for probably 5 or 6 years back when I was a kid. And in the last 2.5, 3 years, just been running dozens of games here and in this absolute tabletop community, which is amazing, the most positive place you can be a part of. So if you guys see any of these call to adventure games, there's going to be a bunch of us doing them. As I said, there's like 40 people now. It's designed for, people to learn the basics, to learn how to roll, to learn how to, do your hits, to learn how to make characters. And I'm very happy with how Jeremy and Jason, if I spoke to them 2 weeks ago, they were a lot worse off than they are today. They were a little worried about what to do. And I think they both did a great job. I'm very, very impressed with them. So again, guys, this has been Drake, do that a lot, with the RPG Construct. And I'm going to sign off, but thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Everybody have a great night.